Hey guys, HDV here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some pretty cool things to go over, new Pokemon Legends ZA DLC updates to take a look at. We have a ton of new events that have been announced for various different Pokemon games. We also have a new Nintendo Switch 2 update to go over. There's so much stuff to break down today, so if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's take a look at some of the brand new Pokemon events and announcements. So the first one is for Pokemon Unite. We had Pokemon tweeting out saying even more Mega Evolution Pokemon are coming to Pokemon Unite soon. So Mega Lucario will join the fray on the 3rd of October, and Mega Charizard X will follow on the 24th of October. And then they go on to say, plus 2 more Mega Evolution Pokemon will arrive on Eos Island by the end of 2025. I'm pretty confident that these are going to be brand new Mega Evolutions from Pokemon Legends ZA, in a way to promote Pokemon Legends ZA, but I feel like they would just let us know what they are already if they were just normal Mega Evolutions. If it was like Mega Lopunny or Mega Scizor or something like that, they would just drop those there. So this is very much likely going to be brand new Mega Evolutions to tie in with Pokemon Legends ZA. But either way, Lucario on the 3rd of October and then Charizard X on the 24th of October. Moving on, we have a quick Pokemon Home update to go over. I think this is what the maintenance patch was the other day. We went over it, I think it was like last week or something. Nothing really came of it, but then this has now been revealed, so I assume it's something to do with this. But either way, Cerebi tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, new medals have been announced for Pokemon Home for the Pokemon Premier Ball League tournaments in the Philippines. Moving on, we have an update for Pokemon Go. We actually have quite a few updates for Pokemon Go, but this is the first one. So we've got Cerebi here tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, Pokemon Go has announced that every Sunday during the season Tales of Transformation, you will get an additional special trade as well as other bonuses. So now it's a great time if you are needing to trade Pokemon to do it during this event, because you obviously get an extra special trade every Sunday. Moving on, we have this update for Pokemon Go. We've got Cerebi tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, the Pokemon Go Psychic Spectacular Taken Over event has been revealed. This runs from the 16th of September at 10 AM local time to the 21st of September at 8 PM local time. It adds Indeedee and Shadow Tornadus into the game. And then we have another Pokemon Go update to go over. We've got Cerebi tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, the next Pokemon Go Shadow Raid weekend has been announced. This focuses on Shadow Groudon. It runs from 6 AM to 10 PM on the 20th of September through to the 21st of September. So that's all the Pokemon Go stuff. And then we have this for Pokemon TCG Pocket, because yesterday was the 1st of September. We have the new Premium Pass. So Cerebi tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, Pokemon TCG Pocket has had its monthly refresh, adding Suicune cosmetic items to the Premium Shop. The Latias promo is also now available through Premium Missions. So, those are all of the brand new Pokemon events and announcements that I wanted to go over for today's video. Moving on, let's take a look at the new Nintendo Switch 2 update patch. This was tweeted out by Nintendo Everything, saying Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch Update 20.4.0 out now. The patch notes are as follows. So it says the next Nintendo Switch 2 and Switch Update is now live, with version 20.4.0 starting to make its way out to all system owners. The past few updates have been about stability improvements. Once again, that's what we're getting here. If you are hoping for new Nintendo Switch 2 features or functionality, you might be left disappointed. So Nintendo's official notice is as follows. So Nintendo Switch 2/Switch Update version 20.4.0 patch notes, general system stability improvements to enhance the user's experience. Note that these patch notes are the same for both systems. In other words, the stability improvements are for both the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Nintendo Switch. They say while firmware upgrades have been a bit plain, they have been coming out fairly regularly. The most recent release, version 20.3.0, dropped about a month ago. You can find our coverage of it here. Also, one thing we'll mention again is that Nintendo's patch notes aren't always fully detailed. Notably, we're sometimes seeing improvements for Nintendo Switch 1 backwards compatibility on the Nintendo Switch 2 following system updates. As one example, a bunch of titles were fixed in the middle of July, with some heavy hitters on the list. So yeah, look, it says stability improvements as always, but there's probably gonna be more things that were fixed with this update. It is good that we're getting these updates. We're getting them like fortnightly now. which is good, but they also just don't give us the information that we want for these stability issues, so it's a little bit annoying. Again, we are looking like a Nintendo Direct is going to be happening next week on the 11th or the 12th of September, so maybe it's getting things ready for that, who even knows, but at the same time, that is something that we can look forward to next week. But either way, those are the Nintendo Switch 2 stability improvements. The next thing that I wanted to go over today is a little bit of a leak update regarding Mega Evolutions. This does contain story spoilers as well, so skip past this bit if you don't want any of those. But we have this tweet to go over from Ball Guy saying, by the way, every Mega Evolution is usable in Pokemon Legends ZA, Zygarde included. The Floette situation is similar to Eternamax Eternatus. However, you can still use its main Mega Evolution, just not an alternative related to the story. So, with the story, obviously you're fighting this Ange thing fused with the Eternal Floette or whatever, and Zygarde's there to help you stop it. That's kind of like the Eternamax Eternatus situation. So you won't be able to use that kind of fused Pokemon there, but you will be able to use the regular Eternal Floette Mega Evolution, if that makes sense. And then we also had this reply as well, saying my king has returned in regards to Mega Rayquaza. And then they say, unfortunately not, I'm referring to the base game 26. So yeah, that just to quickly clear this up, he's not saying here that every single Mega Evolution is in Pokemon Legends ZA, it's not usable. He's just talking about the 26 that are dropping in the actual game. Because obviously Mega Zygarde, Mega Eternal Floette, all those Pokemon, we're a little bit unsure if we were going to be able to use them or if they were just going to be story related or whatever. They are all usable in Pokemon Legends ZA, but there's some that aren't. Again, Mega Rayquaza isn't in the game. I think Primal Kyogre isn't in, Primal Groudon isn't in. I don't think Mega Latias and Latios are in either. I think Mega Mewtwo X and Y are, but they might be the only legendaries that have a Mega Evolution that are in the game. Regarding Mythicals, obviously with like Diancie and stuff, that should be in the game because it is a Generation 6 Pokemon, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, all the Gen 3 Mega Evolution legendaries not in the game, but Mewtwo is, and yeah, Eternal Floette Mega Evolution also usable. Just wanted to quickly go over that because it was just some new information that Ball Guy posted regarding Pokemon Legends ZA. Finishing things off for today's video though, we have a bit of an update to go over regarding the DLC. So this was recently leaked by Riddler-Coup, confirming that we were going to be getting a DLC update in Pokemon Legends ZA. The thing we didn't know though is if it's going to be paid DLC like we got with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Sword and Shield, or if it was going to be a free update like we got for Pokemon Legends Arceus. We still don't really know, but there is a lot of information here to go over that kind of points us in one of those avenues. So we've got Soul Silver out here tweeting out saying a lot of people asking about potential ZA DLC being a free update or a paid DLC. Well, I think of it this way. Pokemon Legends ZA was originally planned to release on in 11/24, and they had planned DLC for it in 6/25. So November 24 and then June 25 with the DLC. Why would just a little update be released 7 months later need that much planning? So what they're saying here is, you know, if it was just a little free update, they just bring it out a few months later, not 7 months later. This is also something important to keep in mind. In-game purchases more likely refers to paid DLC. And don't forget that ZA multiplayer was hinted at in a similar way before it was officially revealed. So on the actual Pokemon Legends ZA kind of eShop page, it does say in-game purchases. Now I'm pretty sure it does say this on Pokemon Legends Arceus as well. I think they just have to have that on there. But either way, you know, take of that of what you will. But we do also have Osmio saying, you know, here you go, both Switch 1 and Switch 2 have it, so it's not the upgrade pack as Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have it. And historically, all games that have had DLC have had this icon before release or added afterwards. Sword and Shield and Scarlet Violet was added later. Pokemon Legends Arceus doesn't have it. I'm pretty sure that the Pokemon Legends Arceus page does have it though, so either way, who knows, maybe some people are getting confused, maybe I'm getting confused, I don't know. And then also, lastly, I know Riddler-Coup wouldn't say that a potential ZA DLC is fun if it wasn't something substantial. This alone is enough to at least make me keep an open mind, don't sleep on this. And then we go and have Soul Silver saying, oh, one more point which I failed to mention in my first post is, if Pokemon Legends ZA had released in 2024, there would have been no Pokemon game in 2025. So a ZA DLC could have been something big enough to fill that void for fans until Gen 10 in 2026, like Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet did. Also, the ZA delay could have been giving them even more time to work on a DLC, possibly making it more substantial too. So there's a lot of good points that Soul Silver Art here is making. You know, the 7 months after the game drops for the DLC, you know, for a free update, it wouldn't take that long. Again, the in-game purchases, you can make of that what you will, because I'm pretty sure that does pop up on the Legends Arceus page. But yeah, with the Scarlet and Violet DLC and the Sword and Shield DLC, that's all we had for certain years. Like last year, all we got was the Scarlet and Violet. No, last year we got nothing. The year before that was the Scarlet and Violet DLC for 2023, and that was it. So in Pokemon's eyes, like, DLC is substantial enough for a year of kind of Pokemon content. I think it'd be a little bit different this time though, because I don't think it'd be like a DLC with 2 parts. I think it's just going to be a 1-part DLC. And so maybe like a 1-part DLC wouldn't be enough to kind of give us a year of Pokemon content. But it's still, I don't know, still some food for thought, still something to think about. So this is Soul Silver Art, basically in favor of it being a paid DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA. Let's go over some information regarding why it potentially could be a free update instead. So we've got Jean here tweeting out saying, seeing people making funny guesses on what this DLC will drop and what's in it, I'll give my personal take for this. So realistically, they cannot drop this later than Pokemon Day 2026 when they announce the Generation 10 game. That will kill the 30th anniversary hype. If I would have to guess, it will probably be the holiday seasons or early January like Scarlet and Violet Epilogue. Both are good timing to drop some stuff, especially if it's just a Daybreak update. Reason I don't believe it's Pokemon Day 2026 is because it's the 30th anniversary. They've got a lot that day. So I pretty much believe it's just a Daybreak level update. So the kind of free update patch like we got for Daybreak for Pokemon Legends Arceus, instead of obviously the DLC that we got for Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, since Riddler Q did call this a DLC 3 years ago. To add on, any paid DLC should include a code name, but despite getting a Gen 10 code name of Gaia from the Terra League, we didn't get that for ZA DLC. So there was no code name for a DLC pack, which again is in favor of a free update, because a DLC would have a code name, like Scarlet and Violet's had a code name, Sword and Shield's had a code name. They've then gone to say the content, I realistically don't know, but since it's just a free update, most likely there's going to be no new Mega Evolution, so don't expect we somehow leave Lumiose City for any reasons. Could include new buildings to enter, but the interior being copied from somewhere else in the game is very likely. And then we have this post as well from Jean saying, I know a lot of people are asking, will Mega Zeraora be in this DLC? So I'll explain my take on this in this thread. So we know the Terra League build has a slot for this Pokemon, but it was never modeled in. It's a very typical situation for a scrapped Pokemon. We also know that from the anime meeting parts of the Terra League, that Mega Zeraora was suggested when the anime staff wanted to use it as one of the 6 heroes. Note the way they said as they are designing this Pokemon for Ikaku, so the anime could use it as a tie-in. But as the anime plays out, there were no Zeraora seen within the 6 heroes. This role was scrapped for this Pokemon eventually. But since Zeraora is essentially a mythical Pokemon, they realistically can't just tie it into the game with whatever event reasons. Note, event reasons. So my personal guess right now is if we get a Mega Zeraora, it's likely included in this free update DLC. Since mythical Pokemon are event mons used to promote something, I can see it being a save data bonus for downloading Pokemon Champions on your console. I remember Zeraora was a Pokemon that we got in Pokemon Unite as well. I know that's not like a main series game or anything, but that was another kind of mythical Pokemon event that we got for that game. And they also go on to say the timing kind of lines up. Since we know Pokemon Champions is going to be used for Worlds next year. Realistically, it cannot be released too late next year. A January, February 26 release frame sounds likely, which does line up with this potential DLC for Legends ZA. And then we also have Nurse saying, considering if it was still in the anime, they would probably have been leading up towards it by now. This is probably the most likely outcome if it's not scrapped entirely. So, if Mega Zeraora is not scrapped, it will very likely be a free kind of download or a free early, I guess, download. Something to do with downloading Pokemon Champions early, basically, will give you Mega Zeraora, which will be usable in Champions, but it might not even be usable in Pokemon Legends ZA. We'll have to wait and see. We just know that we're talking about it, obviously, from the Terra Leak and stuff, but yeah, that's kind of the DLC update there. So I've just given you guys the information. You can decide whether you want to believe if it's going to be a free update pack or if it's going to be an actual paid DLC. There's 2 sides of the argument. Like I say, no code name, and as well as that, it was, it's very likely that Zeraora is going to be introduced in Pokemon Champions, stuff like that. And then you have on the other side of things, you've got what Soul Silver Art was saying with the in-game purchases and the 7-month kind of gap, and also Pokemon Company site kind of being like, yeah, it was going to be alright for a year of Pokemon content just having a DLC pack. So, I don't know, I can see both sides of the argument. I'm just bringing you guys the news, but let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think it's going to be well, I mean, we might not even get a DLC. I mean, Riddler has pretty much confirmed it, but we don't know if it's a paid DLC or a free update. I'm just trying to give you guys all the possible information so you can use it to form your own opinion. But either way, that's all that. And then let me know your thoughts on all the Nintendo stuff and all the events and announcements and all that jazz. That's everything from me, though. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. It really does help out. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we covered. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time,